Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome to the Planetary Persuader.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of the Planetary Persuader. I'm your host, Kozmic Kev, and we're talking about the week of September 9th, actually September 2nd through the 9th. And we're starting out this Friday with the moon in Scorpio. Now, Saturday viewers, the moon is going into Sagittarius a little bit after 2 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time. And this is, and for those of you who are coming back from Burning Man, welcome back. Sniff, sniff. I couldn't make it. I hope you had a wonderful time. And for those of you who survived your Labor Day weekend here in the States, whatever that meant, whether you worked it or it worked you, hope you're doing good. So, what do we got going on in the sky right now? Well, we've got Mercury in Leo, but by next Friday, by the 9th, or actually Thursday night, Mercury will be back in Virgo again. And in a lot of ways, we're getting rid of all that residue of the past Mercury retrograde that we had a few weeks ago, and we're regaining ground of things lost. We've got Saturn in Libra. And this is a long term, and it really requires a look at what's really fair. Now, the last time Saturn was in Libra, as I recall, the Reagan administration was deregulating banks and covering up deals with cocaine for arms and all kinds of crazy stuff to make some money, and so it's sort of like, I think, like on the worst side of Libra is that they can get involved in what I'd call situation ethics. It's like, well, if the ends justify the means, who's going to be the wiser? And, what causes and means are worthy depends largely on the individual. And I think a lot of times once you get in a higher economic bracket, you discover that there's a culture of nod and wink and even a culture of corruption on what we thought was this firm foundation keeping people alive. Uranus in Aries, on the other hand, is like that little boy in the Emperor's New Clothes, rather, that says, gosh, that guy's naked. Oh my gosh, yeah. And that's where we're at socially right now, is that there's surprise Uranus, and it's unconventional, because of course that is unconventional. But it is also direct, brazen exposure, and we would look at Aries as probably the most direct sign in the zodiac. Okay, so Mars is still in Cancer, and Pluto is in Capricorn. So this is the other thing. We're still in this place where we have Uranus and Saturn, and Mars and Pluto in opposition. So we've got this Scorpio Aquarius thing going on, even though we've got the Sun in Virgo. There's this thing of like revolution, Aquarius, and underground, Scorpio. So we acknowledge that there's this undercurrent, whereas like the other two fixed signs, Leo and Taurus, are a lot more status quo than either Scorpio or Aquarius. I can honestly say that. I think most other astrologers would agree. And partly that's because of the lack of experience. You want to do what's safe, and as signs move on, they realize there's all kinds of stuff as we get older going on. We've got, with the Sun in Virgo, Venus in Virgo, Mercury eventually moving into Virgo, and we're in a waxing moon period. That means we're headed towards a full moon. But that's not till the next weekend. So our energy is gaining here in Virgo land, which is a sign of service. It's a sign of analysis, looking at particulars, looking at specifics. And a lot of times the biggest deal with Virgo is the untamed critic. I know what's wrong. Knowing what's wrong is not enough to make you smart. Knowing how to fix it is. So let's say we've got to have more solution consciousness during this time. Let us focus on that. as we go through this week's episode of Horoscope in the Planetary Persuader.